Welcome to the last episode of the shed / workshop transformation, where we are turning my boiling hot tin shed into a super cool workshop. In the last couple of months, we have insulated the roof, the walls, we have done the dry sheets, we've painted the shed, we've also finished fitting out all the workshop parts, the benches, the toolbox, and all that sort of stuff. In this final episode, we are just doing the finishing touches. It's not going to be a huge one, but I wanted to keep it separate from my main videos. So without further ado, let's get started on the last bit of this shed transformation. Proudly supported by Superior Engineering, Diesel Conversions Australia, and in part by... Right, it's another day and we are back in the shed. We are going to wrap up the shed transformation video in this episode. We're going to finish off everything that needs to be finished off, and it's not a whole lot of stuff, but it does need to be done. Through the week, some things have changed, and yesterday I did get the aircon fitted up by Axel. So cheers Axel for coming around, sorting that out. It's up on the wall, and boys, this is a game changer. To have that done and installed and up there is honestly one of the biggest upgrades I think I'll ever do in my life. It's only 9 o'clock in the morning, and today in the shed it says it's 27 degrees. Yesterday it got up to about 33 in here, which means it's just cooking. And that's not even like the hottest day we've had in the past week. So yeah, I am friggin' stoked about having an aircon in the shed. We can turn that on. It's gonna cool down the whole room, but that's where today's episode is just gonna finish it off, because we've got a few little things to make that aircon a lot more efficient in cooling the shed down. Now, if you did miss the last episodes, we have basically sheeted all the walls and insulated behind the wall and as well as the roof. Now, the only thing left to do is really just this door and partly the roller door. I'll explain that one in a second, but this door here obviously has no insulation on it, so we need to get some sort of insulation on that and also seal it up. There's a big gap at the bottom, big gap at the top, and right around it is a little bit of a gap. Now, there's definitely a few ways to insulate the door. A lot of comments on the first video, I think it was, recommended foil board. So we're gonna try that out today. What we'll do is cut that up, put it into the door and tape it in or glue it in somehow. Kind of figure that out in a sec, but these panels are only about 40 bucks each. So what we'll do is just cut it up into sections, sit it in there, and maybe tape around the edges or something, and that will insulate the door itself. And then we will try and put like a rubber seal in here so that when you shut the door, it is fully sealed off. What I'm going to do is we're gonna see how hot the shed gets. We'll seal everything up, and then we will turn the aircon on, give it about an hour. We'll see how cold we can get the shed in just an hour. I certainly don't think we're gonna get the shed like 100% efficient in terms of like losing air. There's gaps everywhere. There's gaps in on the side of this roller door. There's a massive gap at the top of this roller door. You can see the light coming through on the tin foil up there. But if we can get it even to 90%, it's gonna help that aircon a lot. So out the front of the shed, if you take a look up on the roller door, there's quite a big gap just there. So we need to seal that off as well. And I think I've got an idea on how to do that. Once all that's done, guys, we're gonna blast this aircon, and the shed transformation will be just about complete. I really wasn't sure how I was going to insulate this door here, but foil board was recommended a few times in the last couple of episodes. So the good thing is it's cheap and easy to work with. The only downsides I can really see at the moment is it doesn't look that great, and it's not super tough. If someone leans on this, they're going to put their hand straight through it. So we'll just see how it goes. Ideally, we'd put something a little bit tougher in, or maybe we can put a very thin sheet of alloy or something over the top just to strengthen up that door. But anyway, that can be later down the track. For now, this is going to work fine. Right, now that is the door done. You can see I've put the foil board in, taped around the edges. Now, it's definitely not the best job. Kind of looks a little bit ugly, but it's going to do the trick for now. Then what I might do is get a thin bit of like 0.8 mil aluminium and just screw it to the outside so it's like nice and, you know, looks good. I don't know. So what we need to do now is seal up all these gaps here, See there's light coming through in multiple spots, and we are going to be using this double adhesive, or just single adhesive, whatever it is, rubber strip, and I'm going to be putting that in there. Now my main concern with sealing this up is we don't have a lot of tolerance with the shutting of the door here. You can see it's quite thin there, so hopefully this isn't going to impede the door shutting, but we do need to seal it up anyway, so I'm going to go ahead, run the seal right round, wax and grease remove, all that sort of stuff, and yeah, hopefully seal this door up. Right, the moment of truth, will it shut? Right, well that thick rubber didn't work, so I'm going to be using this foam adhesive strip that I bought. Luckily I had a few options. I had my suspicions with that rubber that it was going to be too thick. That's why I got this as well. This stuff is going to compress like really, really thin. It is like, goes down to nothing. So chuck this on, hopefully that'll seal around the door and then we can move on. I got that little seal all tucked away in there. Decided to put a strip of the thick rubber at the top as well, because that's where most of the draft was. We shut this up now. It's not quite as thick as it needs to be, but it's certainly gonna help with some of that airflow. The only spot now is at the bottom of the door. There's gonna be a little bit of a draft come through there, so we'll sort that out in a second, but that is pretty much the door done. You can see what I mean about how this gets hot. We're already at 31.5 and it's only 10:19 in the morning. It's definitely hot in here at the moment. I can't wait to flick the aircon on. But what I'm gonna do now is lift up the roller door and we are gonna sort out that gap above the door. So what I've bought, and I have no idea if it's gonna work yet, is this adhesive strip of foam. Now it's got an aluminium piece there, which we are gonna use the adhesive, but I'm also gonna screw through, and we're gonna screw this up onto the door. And that's gonna create our seal. It's gonna rub when we open the door. It's kind of gonna move on this rubber, but I think that it is gonna be good enough to trap a lot of the air inside of the shed. At least I think it's worth a shot anyway. So we'll go ahead and fit it up and hopefully it works. There is some better options for sealing off a roller door like this. There's like a skirt attachment, but they're like 5 times the price of the foam piece that I got. So I'm gonna try this out, see how it works. If you had the money, I do recommend going the proper thing though. It will seal it up a little bit better. Right, that is the first one done. It does have double-sided tape, but I decided to put some screws in it as well. Now, when we lift this up, you'll see that kind of just goes with the door. And then the good thing is, if you come in here, the one that we haven't done, look how much light is coming through the top. The one that we've done, we have no light whatsoever. So that is working a treat, if you ask me. Pretty much the only way for air to get out of this shed now is going to be through these gaps here. And you can order a seal kit for that. So I am going to order that online and probably fit that up just so we are fully airtight with the shed. Yeah, that is mint. I'll just quickly do the other one and then we can shut the doors, whack the aircon on. Site supervisor's just come out, give me a hard time for not having my working at heights permit. Sorry about it, mate. I'll have it next time, I promise. Just let me go this one time, please. Please. So both of the roller doors are done, and as you can see, there's no light coming through the top now. So what I'm gonna do is drop the roller door down, flick the aircon on. It is starting to get really warm in here. On the digi dial, we are at 32 degrees. So we'll flick the aircon on, shut the roller door up, see how cold we can get it. Now, if you come down the back of my shed, this is where we have put the aircon. The outside unit just literally sits on these leveling blocks, so that's nice and neat. You can see the line comes in, the aircon's mounted right about here, so the line comes in down to the aircon, and then we've got an isolator on the wall, little drain going into a sewer line. And you come in here, we've got the Samsung 7 kilowatt up on the wall. I don't know too much about aircons, but it says digital inverter. It does hot and cold. We are only going to be using the cold. So let's shut everything up and get this on. This is pretty exciting. Look, we've just hit 32 on the dot. So let's go. Got the remote on cool and 17. Booze. I kind of got to learn how to use the remote here, but it's blowing cold air already, so we'll leave that on for a bit. We'll see what we can get the temps down to. It already feels so much nicer in here. It's been on for about a second. So I think that we are on to a winner. Now I'm going to move on to tinting this glass. I have never tinted in my life before. I've never done a car or any glass for that matter, or any tint. So I'm probably going to stuff this up. I've got enough to do both windows, or I've got enough to do this window twice, depending on how good I am. What I've got to do first is wipe the window down because it is really quite dirty. So I'll do that first. But then the second step is to watch a YouTube video so you can watch someone who knows what they're doing, and then I can put it on and show you guys how I'm doing it, which will still probably be wrong. So I've just got plain black tint. This is from Bunnings. It wasn't very expensive. It's probably the cheapest one I could find. But yeah, plain black tint straight up. I don't know how dark it'll be. I don't know what it'll look like yet, but we're gonna get it on the wall anyway. Ouch. Hello. Hello, the shed upgrade is sick. I love it.
Tinted film from these windows. So just make sure they're free of any glue residues or any grit.
Right, quick tutorial later, and I'm now an expert. So let's go ahead and tint these windows. The first job I need to do is clean the window. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it is really dirty. Spray bottle, soapy water, razor, meet window. I thought I bought window tint, but this is like jet black. It says window film. We will just put this up anyway. I think this is gonna look pretty cool instead of having a window. That's one side done. Move on to the other side. Definitely a lot harder than what it looks like online, which is the case with most things, but I will try and do the other side without stuffing it up, and then we'll have a blacked out window, or we'll have no window. Depends how you look at it. Right, the window is done. You think that I'd be better on the second run, but I was a lot worse. You can see my cut mark around the outside was not too great, but I might just get a texture and like sort of touch that up. Anyway, from back here, she looks pretty good. You certainly cannot call that tint. That is more just like putting a black sticker on. But anyway, it is done, and that feels a lot better in here, and I can stand here and film, where before, if that is open, if I stand here, my face will go black and it'll focus to the outside. So that is why I have to sort of black my windows out. The one over here, I'm not even gonna worry about because it is behind the shelf. You can't really see that one. It's not really affecting the camera. And I do all my filming up this side of the shed anyway. Right, let's check on the aircon. It's been about maybe 45 minutes. We're down to 27.7. So it's gone from 32 to 27, 5-degree difference. That is huge, especially in the middle of the day. This thing here is obviously trying to fight the temperature today. So the shed was already at 32 and it's trying to cool that down. What I'm better off doing is coming in the morning and turning it on straight away so that it's cooling down cold air. Then it just keeps that cycle of cold air going. It'll be a lot easier for it to maintain that. Now, I've had a lot of questions in the comments of the past 2 videos. They've been very popular, by the way, so thank you everyone who's watching and subscribing at the moment. But I had a few comments about my epoxy floor. Now, it's a Diamart kit. There is a video on my YouTube, so if you type in Rome Life epoxy, it should pop up. But I did the floor myself with the Diamart kit from Bunnings. I had to use 2 kits, and everyone keeps asking how it's holding up. And I sort of had the same question when I did it as well. I wasn't sure how reliable this floor is going to be. I've done this, I think, just over 2 years ago now. There's no marks on the floor. There's no peeling up whatsoever. The only 2 spots that are damaged is from me dropping a grinder while it was still spinning. But besides that, it's honestly holding up really good. There's not one sort of imperfection with the epoxy itself. And it's really good because if you spill oil or something in your shed, you can just wipe it up. So if you are looking to do it, save some money, just get the Diamart kit, do it yourself. Follow the video that I made because yeah, the way I did it seems to have worked. Now, I know the last 2 videos were really long. They actually took 4 days to film for each video. this video is going to be really short. I'm actually going to leave it here. I just wanted to sort of end it for you guys that are only watching for the shed and say that the shed is now complete. We have the aircon, we have the walls insulated, we have the roof insulated, everything's sealed up and everything is back in its spot where it needs to go. So that means that shed transformation is 100% complete at the moment. And guys, it has been a long journey, but super worth it. Now, all up, we have spent $2,500 on the whole lot. So that is the walls, the insulation, everything that we've done today, the aircon, which I did get secondhand off Marketplace, even though it's brand new. So that costs $600. So there might be a variance if you are doing it with an aircon as well. But all up, $2.5 grand. We have turned this from a hot box into an igloo cool room. And yeah, it is just going to be so nice working in here, especially with this hot summer we've already got. And it's going to be getting worse, I assume. I'm really curious to know if we are going to get this shed down to 17, but I'll keep you guys updated in the next few videos. And yeah, we'll be returning to our regular program. We're going to pull the GQ into the shed and start cranking on that thing. We're going to pull the engine out, do the turbo setup, the manifold setup and all that sort of stuff. So I'm really excited to get that done. I was dreading it before we got the aircon, but now excited to come in here and pump out some work. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you can take some of this into your own shed and let me know in the comments what you think, and we will see you guys on the next episode.